Hello everyone, we are here to discuss some interesting topics pertaining to mental health, and today it is important for us to understand how mental health is significantly different in different parts of the country. We have always been told that the urban lifestyle is different from the rural lifestyle, and we always tend to sort of appreciate the rural lifestyle because they don't seem to have stress like how we see in urban setup. For example, in an urban area, people run around to meet their daily needs, or there is too much of globalization, there is too much of competition. So it is expected that the urban background, people from urban background are more likely to experience mental health issues, whereas rural people may not have so much of mental health complications because they seem to have a very relaxed lifestyle. But the fact is, this is a myth. Rural people do have a lot of mental health complications, which probably is different from the way it is manifested in an urban setup. People in urban setup experience different kinds of issues, whereas people from rural setup have their own set of challenges. So both urban and rural people require an intense attention towards their mental health issues. We all know that in an urban setup, stress is an important factor. People experience stress quite significantly because there is a lot of competition, or there is a lot of fight for utility of resources. Whereas in a rural setup, there may not be an evident sign of stress, but rural people experience their own set of issues. One common issue that is reported in many of the research papers is that there is a lot of community involvement in personal life. So people in rural setup do tend to not experience privacy. They do not have their own personal space, which creates a lot of social complications. So the family matters is told to everyone. People in a rural setup have a very closed community setup, and they tend to discuss all their personal matters within themselves, which can exaggerate the problem. So people in rural setup have a lot of social issues. People in rural setup tend to have a lot of limitations in terms of resource experiences. So when we are trying to help people from different backgrounds, it is essentially required for all of us to understand what kind of background they come from. People from a rural setup, when they move to an urban setup, will have a different complication. And when people who choose to stay in a rural setup will definitely have a different set of challenges altogether. So India, as diverse as a country, is also diverse in terms of its problems. It is very complicated, it is very complex to understand what kind of challenges that they experience. So a blanket problem requires a specific solution. Each part of the country, each part of the socio-economic background of an individual requires an independent attention. So when we are talking about mental health, we cannot have one solution for all. We need to have different solutions. We need to have tailor-made solutions for each of the problems that is experienced across the country. So when we are looking at people in a rural setup, we need to understand the socio-cultural background of the rural area that they come from. To be more precise, people who reside in a rural setup in a particular state is different from people who reside in a rural setup in another state. So it is important for all of us to understand the diversity of our country, the diversity of our states, for us to be able to understand the mental health issues. Thank you so much for watching. We will meet with another video in the next time. Thanks for watching AYUSH TV English.